They said they really lost their confidence. I watched them. They're really screwed up. I watched this MSNBC, which is a threat to democracy, actually. They're stone cold mean, but they're stuttering. They're all screwed up. They're all mentally screwed up. They don't know what. Their ratings have gone down the tubes. But MSNBC was mean. Their ratings are absolutely down. This Rachel Maddow, what does she have? She's got nothing. Nothing. She took a sabbatical where she worked one day a week. They paid her a lot of money. She gets no ratings. These people are really, I mean, they lie. They shouldn't be allowed to lie every night. They are really a vehicle of the Democrat Party.
Attacking legacy media institutions has become a hallmark of Donald Trump and the MAGA movement. And while they are certainly deserving of criticism, when warranted, that is, this is beyond the pale. Trump's strategy isn't about accountability. It's about dominance. It's about crushing any dissent, any criticism, and replacing actual journalism with a never-ending cycle of state-sanctioned propaganda. And the worst part, it's working.
This action concerns CBS's partisan and unlawful acts of election and voter interference through malicious, deceptive, and substantial news distortion calculated to confuse, deceive, and mislead the public, an attempt to tip the scales in favor of the Democratic Party. Trump attorneys said the complaint comes due to CBS's partisan and unlawful acts of election and voter interference through malicious, deceptive, and substantial news distortion calculated to confuse, deceive, and mislead the public.
Today, ABC News agreed to give $15 million to Donald Trump's Presidential Library Project to settle a lawsuit filed by the president-elect. Trump had sued the network and George Stephanopoulos for defamation after the anchor incorrectly stated on air that Trump had been found liable for rape. ABC has also agreed to post online a note of regret.
Because while Trump refuses to attack Fox News and other right-wing propaganda outlets, he is taking a full victory lap over his latest massive win, bullying the corporate media into submission. And let's be clear, when Trump bullies, these networks cave. CBS, ABC, others, they're now in a full-blown retreat, not because Trump has proven them wrong, but because he's using the legal system as a battering ram to silence anyone who dares hold him accountable. This isn't about fighting fake news. It's about making sure the only news left is the kind that worships him.
But I've been through every emotion from, anger, rage, disappointment, hurt, feeling that, guilt, that I let my team lose their jobs. The moment of guilt that I felt that I went hard on so many issues, whether it was the Black Lives Matter issues of a young baby or a mom or a dad that was killed, or when we opened up people's eyes to the fact that Asian Americans were being targeted and not just Black folks, or went hard for immigrants who've done nothing but come to this country like my parents did and try to make a life, and defended them, defending books that people find inconvenient, whether it's talking about any of these issues, and yes, whether it's talking about Gaza. I'm not sorry. I am not sorry that I stood up for those things, because those things are of God. I'm a church girl too, and those are the things that I was taught were of God. And so I'm not sorry. I'm just proud of my show.
And if you need proof of how emboldened he's become, just listen to how he talks about his critics. The same man who has spent years spewing the most vile, racist rhetoric suddenly thinks Joy Reid is racist for calling him out, while literally turning around and launching racial attacks on Al Sharpton in the same breath. This is what Trump does. He plays victim while being the aggressor, and his base eats it up every single time.
An even bigger programming change is at 7 p.m. Eastern, where Joy Reid's show, The Readout, ended tonight. And Joy is not taking a different job in the network. She is leaving the network altogether. And that is very, very, very hard to take. I do not want to lose her as a colleague here at MSNBC. And personally, I think it is a bad mistake to let her walk out the door. It is not my call, and I understand that, but that's what I think.
Now let's talk about MSNBC's shakeup. Because if you've been paying attention, it's not just about Trump's vendetta against individual anchors like Joy Reid. It's about reshaping the entire network to be less oppositional, less critical, and more palatable to corporate interests that don't want to rock the boat. MSNBC has built its brand as a so-called liberal counterweight to Fox News. But with the way things are moving, it's looking more like a neutered lapdog afraid to bite. And if you think that's dramatic, just take a look at what's happening behind the scenes. The media landscape is shifting fast, and not in a good way. These corporate media outlets are gutting real journalism, purging outspoken voices, paving the way for a media environment where the truth is an afterthought and access to power is the main priority. And guess who benefits the most from that? Donald Trump and every other authoritarian who relies on misinformation, fear, control to keep their grip on power. Because this is what all authoritarians do, they attack the media, not because they're afraid of fake news, but because they need to sow distrust in anyone who might expose them. They want to create a world where the public doesn't know what to believe, so they just believe him. That's why protecting independent journalism is more important now than ever before, because if we don't, we won't just lose the media, we'll lose democracy itself.